This past weekend, Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith saw the widest re-release in domestic box office history, premiering in nearly 2,800 theaters to celebrate its 20th anniversary. Despite how much Star Wars content you've seen on my channel over the years, this was actually my first opportunity to see this movie on the big screen. So, how did it go? Did my feelings change at all now that I've had the theatrical experience? Let's find out. Hello ladies and gentlemen, and movie lovers of all kind, and welcome back to the channel. As always, I am your host, Brett Murphy, and for today's video, I am going to be discussing my first time experiencing Revenge of the Sith in theaters. Before I hop into the actual video itself, I just wanted to let you all know that I have carefully curated playlists for every type of video I do, be it video essays / experience recaps like this one, ranking videos, top 10 videos, versus videos, and so much more. There is a playlist for all. So I encourage you to explore the channel, and I guarantee you'll find something you like. And if by some chance you don't, then feel free to suggest something you might like. And so without further ado, let's hop right into things. Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith is the first Star Wars movie I truly connected with. Growing up, I did own a VHS copy, for those of you who remember VHSs and VCRs, of A New Hope, which I bought at a local flea market because I liked Darth Vader's mask on the cover. I watched that from time to time and had seen Empire Strikes Back one night while sleeping over at an old friend's house. But beyond the mild enjoyment I got from seeing laser guns, lightsabers, and characters like Darth Vader and Yoda, Star Wars was never really my thing. That is, up until I first watched Revenge of the Sith at another friend's house. I was absolutely enamored by the spectacle on display, the sprawling city landscapes, countless alien species, and epic battles. Arguably the thing that captured me the most was the emotional duel between someone named Anakin, a name I thought sounded vaguely familiar, and the old man turned young Obi-Wan Kenobi. Though I had absolutely no idea why they were fighting, what their personal connections were, or why they decided to fight on a volcano planet, I couldn't take my eyes off the screen for a second. I wanted to watch that fight over and over and over again. I wanted so badly to understand why they were fighting. Where was all of this emotion coming from? What was the history between these characters, and what brought them to this point? I knew I needed to know more, so you can be sure that I bugged my parents to death until I woke up Christmas morning and ripped open my own DVD copy. From that point on, I watched Revenge of the Sith obsessively. I watched it at home, I brought it with me to my grandparents for sleepovers, and watched it during every road trip, as we had one of those family vans with a built-in DVD player. This was also the movie that introduced my younger brother to Star Wars, who then became a hardcore fan long before I had ever really gotten into the series. Yes, Star Wars has always been a part of my life. Again, I grew up with the VHS of A New Hope, I had lightsabers and other toys, but Revenge was the first time I truly connected with the franchise. All of that to say that, even though this isn't my favorite Star Wars movie, it is the one I have watched the most by a landslide. Like, it's not even close. So, when we, my brother and I, heard that it was getting a theatrical re-release to celebrate its 20th anniversary, we hoped, prayed, and kept our fingers crossed for months that our theater would be getting it. It wasn't. Or so we thought up until the day before its wide release. Advance tickets for most locations had gone on sale 2 or 3 weeks ahead of time, and still our theater showed no signs that they would be releasing it. So we disappointedly admitted that it was time to give up hope. Then, as part of my typical Wednesday and Thursday routine, I checked the show times for the next day or two for new releases. Lo and behold, there it was. From Friday to the following Wednesday, our theater would be showing the re-release. I immediately took a screenshot and sent it to my brother, and without hesitation, we both said we were going to the first showing. The tickets were bought, and by 4 p.m. Friday afternoon, the lights were dimming and the speakers were roaring with the iconic Star Wars intro as the title appeared and the opening crawl began. Simply put, the highs have never felt higher. Getting to experience moments like the opening battle, Order 66, and the Battle of the Heroes felt so much more epic than they ever had before. The closest I have gotten to this type of experience was watching it at home on the living room TV with a soundbar. So seeing it on a screen bigger than 55, 60 inches, and with these massive speakers all around me was magical, and further cemented this as one of the best of the franchise and one of my all-time favorite comfort movies. All of the things I've always loved about the movie have obviously remained present. John Williams' score, which I believe to be his best work in the Star Wars universe, the already mentioned grand battles and unforgettable sequences, and of course, the memes. Like, you can't talk about Revenge of the Sith without the memes. Thankfully, my theater had people who were of the same mind as us, not seeing it for the first time, but merely wanting to see it on the big screen. So when moments like,
"This is where the fun begins.
Do it." Hello there.
I have the high ground!"
all hit particularly well and made the experience even more enjoyable. It also really helps too that I now have a much deeper knowledge of Star Wars, having become a more dedicated fan as I got a bit older in the early 2010s. Other elements that sort of made this extra special were just seeing people go out and support this movie. Our particular showing wasn't packed or anything, but the fact that there were other people there was a good sign. After our viewing ended, I kept continuously checking the seating maps for the other showings over the weekend, and it filled my heart with joy to see some of the showtimes were absolutely booming. Pair that with getting to experience it with my younger brother, who, as I've said, was introduced to Star Wars through Revenge of the Sith and was a die-hard fan for a good few years before I was, made it all the more memorable. All that being said, this viewing didn't change my overall opinion though, as the movie is still riddled with flaws and shortcomings. The bad dialogue, wooden acting, crazy over-reliance on CGI, most of which is pretty good, especially for 2005, but some of which is butt ugly and very of its time, and some really nonsensical story beats, lore, and world changes. The memes don't really count in the negatives though, because, I mean, considering how famous and iconic they've become, how can you see them as a negative? But again, this experience was special to me as this was the Star Wars movie growing up and the one I have rewatched by far the most. But never in my 26 years of living have had the chance to see it in theaters. So despite its flaws also being highlighted on the big screen, I never once felt that the negatives outweighed the positives. There is so much brilliance here, so many all-time Star Wars moments, and getting to watch them on the big screen made them feel more special than ever before. If you've never had the chance to see this in theaters, maybe you weren't a big Star Wars fan at the time like myself, maybe you were too young, or maybe you weren't even born yet, and you're a fan of this movie, go see it. It won't change your opinion. If you like or love it, you're still going to like or love it, and the same goes for if you dislike or hate it. But for those of us who find this movie always hits the spot, I'd wager that it will hit the spot this time unlike ever before, and that to me is undeniably worth the price of admission. No, unfortunately, this video was not some insightful discussion piece or an in-depth analysis on one particular aspect of this 20-year-old movie. Instead, it was mostly just me gushing about how much I love this movie, how much the theatrical experience means to me, and why it was so special for me personally to get the opportunity to bring those two together for the first time in my life, despite the immeasurable amount of times I've seen this movie and been to the movie theater. I'm grateful I got this opportunity, and considering this is only a limited run re-release, I highly recommend and encourage any fans of this movie to go and check it out before it's gone. So that is all for today's video, folks. Be sure to let me know down in the comments below if you agree or disagree with my take on this particular topic. Of course, if you have seen the re-release. Which, while you're at it, don't forget to let me know if you had the chance to go check out the Revenge of the Sith re-release in theaters or not. If you did, what did you think? Was it your first time seeing it in theaters? Did it change your opinion at all? And what is your favorite Revenge of the Sith moment? Comment below and let me know. As a reminder, this is the revamped BAMTube Movies, and it is your one-stop for everything movies. Be it video essays / reaction videos, I guess, like this one, ranking videos, top 10s versus videos, tier list videos, I have it all and so much more, along with your daily nerdy news wrap-ups, where I keep you up to date on everything movies, gaming, and TV related. So be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and ring that little bell icon so you don't miss a thing. As always, folks, I thank you all so very much for watching. Stay happy, healthy, and safe out there. From myself and the rest of the BAMTube team, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time, and that's a wrap.